some few words about who are you, Sophie?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Hmm.
I'm 22. I am a nursing student and I love life and having fun and exploring. And I've dealt with some chronic illness with my knee, where my knee has for many years been swollen with water.
Hmm.
And the doctors didn't know what that was and how they could help me. Um, so it wasn't until I started with you that it started getting better. Mm.
And when it was at its worst, how was life for you?
Well, it was really tough. I woke up one morning after a long shift at work, and my knee was so swollen I couldn't walk on it. So I had to get crutches, and I felt like an old woman at 20 years old.
Hmm.
So I felt like my whole life was sort of crumbling in that moment. And I didn't have any hope because no one knew how to help me. Um, so it was a tough period.
Hmm.
Mm,
No hope and no help and
no.
old invalidated
Mm-hmm.
woman with crutches.
Mm,
Boo.
yeah.
And what did the doctor say? What is the diagnosis?
Uh, Unknown. They didn't know what it was because I was tested for arthritis at that point and I had no other joints that were affected. It was just my knee. So they were not sure what that was and how to help me. Um, but they tried their best. I mean, they drained my knee multiple times.
Hmm.
Lots of fluid came out, like this yellow fluid, really, really gross. And I got a shot of cortisone in my knee every time they drained it. But after each drainage, the fluid would come back even more aggressive.
Yeah.
My body was like, "What are you doing?"
Hmm.
Because the fluid actually was a way to protect my knee. It's the body's
Absolutely.
way of protection. So it was like even more distrust in my body after that. It's like, who do you think you are doing this to me? Um, but I didn't have any choice in that moment. I was so desperate for any help I could get. Um, yeah.
And as a child, when did you experience these problems
Well,
with
I've
this?
had issues with autoimmune ever since I was born. I think it has to do with being born early as well. Mm, so autoimmune has been a part of my life since I was like 6 years old, where I had iritis, where my pupil and my iris fused together, and it was almost that I could go blind. So that was scary, and the treatment for that was really painful. But thankfully, I am not blind. Um, yeah, so they were worried about my joints at that point as well. But I didn't
Mm.
have any symptoms yet. But then it came afterwards when I was around 19 with my knee.
So the time from 6 or what was it until 19, you had you were free in your body.
Well, I think not necessarily free. There was always something my body was reacting to, whether it was the eye issue or eczema, or I always had something that my body was trying to fight. It was like fighting against me in a way.
Hmm.
So from 6 to 19, there was always something happening in my body.
And how was it as a child and a youth to have concerns about your body always?
It was debilitating. I mean, I felt like I couldn't be a normal child. I didn't have the same freedom that others had in the same sense of being so free in their body. I mean, there was always something holding me back, and that felt very unfair.
Unfair, yeah.
Mhm.
So all the other guys just whirling around and
Mhm.
experiencing life without any thought,
Yeah.
jumping under the tables and
Mm.
waves, and you could not
No.
participate.
Mm.
Okay. So all the way, you would have to go in and out with the doctor,
Mm.
consulting him for all these small and bigger issues.
Mm.
So how is this experience of the doctor's part in your life?
Well, it's sort of this authority of my life that is felt like that someone else knows more about my body than I do.
Yeah.
And it's taken me more away from my body as well. The more
Mm.
and more I've been in need of the doctor, the less I feel connected to my body.
Mm.
And so it's just this evil cycle in a way that contributes to my issues because my body feels more and more unsafe and can't try. I mean, now looking back on it, it's just the body's way of trying to tell you there's something to look at. There's something here. I need you to see, be aware of me. But in today's day and age, I mean, it's just, you just get a plaster on it and a Band-Aid fixes everything in there, in the world. So, I mean, it
And
makes sense that things build up then.
yeah,
Mm.
and maybe you always had an appointment with the doctor for something in the future
Mm-hmm.
that would bring some hope in your life, maybe
Mm.
next time.
Yeah, but didn't really happen. The hope didn't really, I didn't get any major hope. And maybe for a little bit because they told me, okay, here's the next plan in your treatment, but that never helped me in my issues
So
long
if you
term.
should describe your course of treatment in the healthcare system,
Mm.
uh, where would you like to start? And then simply point in a kind of timeline. How did it evolve?
Mm.
Would you start with when the leg started to announce itself, your knee, maybe
Mm-hmm.
an appropriate point?
Mm-hmm. So it was after I was doing jump rope uh, in the spring of 2022. And after that, my knee felt very strange.
Jump rope, what does that mean?
Like hoppetau, like
Yeah,
yeah.
okay, nothing extraordinary.
No,
Mm.
but I was doing it in the basement and yeah, it wasn't coming from a lot of joy. The movement wasn't coming from a lot of joy. So I think that has to do with it too. But in the spring of 2022, it started coming up and my knee started to be irritated and there'd be more and more fluid building up.
Over the course of weeks or months or
It
days?
was a slow progression,
Mm.
but it was steady. It wasn't wavering in a way. It didn't go away and then come back. It was always sort of there until, I mean, then at that point, I was still in high school and was going to move out. And then they started with the draining process. And that, as I mentioned before, didn't really help. Then when it got to its worst, when I had to use crutches, they put me on a high dose of steroids to uh, to minimize the inflammation in my body, but I mean, that affected me in my whole system. It was really terrible. But it made me be able to walk again. So I was grateful for that. Um, but then it came back again after that. And I sort of had to, it was my new normal for at least a year and a half after that to have fluid in my knee. I wore sort of a bandage around my knee at all times, and I was very used to the pain. But it was always this hatred towards my body and having to be limited in work, in school, in daily activities that I enjoy, like going for walks in the forest. Like it was always this reminder that you aren't where you're supposed to be, or it was almost like I was blaming myself in a way too, like this is your doing, you just have to deal with it.
Hmm.
Yeah. So so it was pretty stagnant for a while until I got some treatment, some frequency treatment, where I was hooked up to a machine and the machine gave me some healing frequencies, which was in retrospect also sort of a Band-Aid put on as well. But it helped in the moment, and I was without swelling for a while, for around close to a year. And then it came back in September 2024. So
And this rate frequency, it was not a doctor's prescription.
no, this was in the woman's basement in Moss. It
Mm.
was very alternative.
Yeah.
hmm So that helped for a while, and she also taught me how to eat properly to get more nutrients in my body. She took this test of my blood, and it showed that there was so little healthy fats in my body that my brain wasn't functioning properly. So my brain was really on autopilot. And at that point also I took a hair analysis test, which showed that I had a lot of stress in my body. I had so much cortisol that they were quite worried. So that was stressful. The stress of knowing that made me more stressed. Um, so it wasn't a good period. And then it came back, like I said, in last year. And then I started working with you, and then it started to get better.
And it came back and you went to the doctor again.
Mm, I did.
And what came out of it,
Then I was
the approach?
sent to a rheumatologist to get more, I mean, to find out if I could get a diagnosis. But they didn't, it was the same answer as I gotten before. So there wasn't anything new they could give me at that point.
And you got, it was performed a CT
Mm,
scan,
yeah,
which precisely showed what you already knew.
yeah, it did. Lots and lots of fluid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last attempt to fix your problem from the doctor was some cell poison.
Yeah. They wanted to put me on a low dose of chemotherapy.
Yeah.
That's a treatment that they give to people with arthritis. But at that point, I didn't even have the diagnosis of arthritis. But they were trying their last straw, and they didn't really understand what that meant for me, being a young woman, also with having my fertility, and they didn't see that. They didn't really care about that. But then I gone through the whole process of starting on this treatment with taking blood tests and pictures of my lungs to make sure I didn't have any blood clots, the whole process. But then when a nurse called me and tried to give me information about the side effects of this drug and what more limitations it would bring to my life. I was like, my whole body
Your whole body would
was screaming no.
screaming no, yeah.
Yeah. So I felt this intense urge to just say, no, I'm not interested in that. And they were very confused. They were like, why are you denying this? We're trying to help you.
Mm.
But no, it wasn't for me.
Okay, so this was a dead end.
Yeah.
And how was it to be at this dead end?
Mm,
Did you experience this dead end? Or did you not really cut this process off before we met?
no, I knew that was their last straw and they couldn't help me anymore. The system couldn't help me. They've tried everything they could and wasn't met as an individual, and they didn't, I mean, they have limitations. So at that point I was like, okay, we've been through all of that. Now we have to sort of turn the stone around and see what's on the other side too. With alternative is what, the alternative Western medicine.
Okay, so I suppose there is a point there where you turn your back
Yeah.
to the no hope more with the system.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you look out in the world for something else.
Yeah.
So what happened?
Well, then I got in contact with you through my mom because I knew based on those tests that my body was really struggling with stress. I knew that my mentality and the way I go about life was impacting my body and my knee. And I knew then that there was a correlation there, and I wanted to explore that to see if that could help because I didn't have anything to lose. So I just wanted to see if that could be of help. And yeah, starting with you and looking into past lives and things that I held that I didn't know I held was like a release of, it felt like there was so much coming out of my body that I had held for so long.
And this, when you think about the first time we spoke on the telephone, what was your expectation?
I had a feeling that you were going to meet me, that you were going to see me in a different way than I had been seen by other doctors and other people trying to help me. So I felt very safe going into it. I don't know how to explain it.
Because of what your mother had referred, or
Yeah.
And your expectation pertinent to your leg?
I didn't have any expectations.
No.
No. I just wanted to see where it led.
Yeah. And during this first session, we did touch upon this leg. And did you have some experience there?
I felt a lot more awareness around my knee and more sensation in that area than I had before. Because the whole time before that, I had really focused on ignoring the pain, ignoring my knee, ignoring the signs, ignoring everything. But then when I talked to you, it was like, okay, but I can't ignore it anymore. It's really begging to be seen. So I felt like after that first session, I definitely started to feel the energy being seen in my knee. And that was interesting.
So when we closed for this first session, how was your experience?
I was optimistic, but also very scared at the same time.
Scared.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I've had so much hope in people being able to help me and then being let down.
Mm.
So I sort of in my body had that feeling that, okay, maybe it can work, but based off my previous experiences, it might also not. And that was scary.
So there was a moment there that brought you hope.
Hmm.
Mm. And then you felt maybe it cannot be true.
Hmm.
Mm. And during this first session, was there a point when where you got this hope?
Well, my memory isn't great, but um, I think it was when you pointed me in the direction of my past lives. It felt like that was something that I needed to shed off to be better in my body and to feel better in my knee. Like it was, I don't know, I knew that that had to happen and that gave me a lot of hope.
Mm. And when we met next time, uh, do you remember what you presented to me?
Hmm.
That you didn't really talk about your knee, as if you felt confident we could talk about other things, but
Hmm.
not the knee.
Hmm.
Do you remember the feelings around that?
Yeah, I think I was going into past mentality around my knee. If I ignore it well enough, then it doesn't exist. Um, but it felt very wrong. It didn't feel true to myself, and I could also sense that you could read beyond that as well. And yeah,
What didn't feel true to you?
the ignoring of my knee.
Yeah. Mm.
Mm. I felt like I was doing a disservice. I felt kind of guilty about it. But at the same time, if I acknowledged it, there'd be so much fear that I didn't want to meet at that point.
Right.
Mm.
And eventually, did this fear appear,
Hmm.
surface?
Yeah.
And how was it to meet all this fear?
It was really terrifying. It, the thought of it was really terrifying. But once it was happening, like I remember I would just break down and cry and cry and cry. And it was just this intense release for me. And but that was really soothing to feel that. Um, and afterwards it felt like a release, but it was like an onion, you know, it was layer after layer. So I knew in a way that it wasn't enough, that there was more to look at as well.
So it was very scary to open the process.
Hmm.
And when some of the fears surfaced, how was it to meet this fear?
Mm,
Did it was this fear appropriate?
no, it was over the top. It was like all my worst fears, my life crumbling, my whole life ending, all of this coming up.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it wasn't bound to reality, but I felt it.
Hmm. And this which you described, crying, crying. That happened between the sessions. Yeah.
Yeah. Oftentimes right after a session, it would like be an intense release of emotion.
Okay. And I remember one part of it that I would ask you at the beginning of a session, how is it with your knee? And you would say, there was some relief, but now it's back. Do you remember that? And then you were not so keen to talk about it.
Yeah.
Was that because of the fear that it would not help anyway?
Yeah. It was sort of this self-destructive mode. When my knee started feeling okay, I was like, no, this is not right.
Yeah.
This can't be right. This can't be true. I have to shut it down before it can get worse on its own. It was this really self-destructive mentality.
That if you opened up to this process and it wouldn't bring relief, that it would bring you further down
Yeah.
and pull the last hope of your life. Okay. So eventually this tide turned and you started to gain some trust. Do you remember something connected to that? What happened that this turned and you got the feeling, okay, this is going to the right direction?
It was, I remember sending you a message afterwards. It was when I really gained trust, when I really felt that I could trust this was when I was going for a hike in very rough terrain, very uneven. And my body was just leaping around, jumping, running, just completely following the terrain. Like before, I couldn't even do that. I have to be so careful with each step and making sure that I didn't do anything wrong. But it was the most freeing feeling to just move in the way my body wanted to move. And that felt really, really good. And just moving in that way and being so much on my toes, that was really exciting. Really exciting. So I had to tell you afterwards about it.
But this was actually after we had discontinued our sessions. So this was a period where things happened even though we did not meet. So as we left our last session, you didn't have this confidence.
No.
Isn't that strange?
It is strange.
And then,
it took a long time for my body and my mind to connect on that in a way. So it had to work on its own without me even thinking about it, is what it felt like.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden in the mountains, you dared experience, well, wow, this is, it works.
Yeah.
Hey. And that was maybe the first time in your life jumping, feeling free in your body.
Definitely. With no limitations in a way.
Yeah. And with your friends.
With my boyfriend, and he was so impressed. He was like, wow, you're so coordinated. You're so in tune with your movements. And that's something I've never heard before.
Yeah. But he's also amazing.
Oh, yeah, he is.
He's really amazing. So, and what is today's state?
Today's state, I have nothing holding me back in my body. I can do as I please and and move in the way I want to move. Um, yeah, if it almost is surprising I mean, I'm so grateful for my body and my knee now, and when it doesn't hurt, and when I go for walks, when I've been starting running lately in the forest,
Okay.
and I'm so surprised and so grateful for my body not being in pain. It's really incredible, and I don't take my body for granted at all. Mm,
So you have no stress.
no. And if my knee does, like when it's raining outside, there's sometimes a little bit of pain here and there in my knee, but I don't have the same fear around that anymore. I see it more as maybe like a compass, like trying to navigate me into the right position again. Because it does want to show me stuff and things to look at, and I'm open to that. I don't want to hide it anymore.
And when you feel some pain, is this inhibiting you in some way?
Mm-mm.
Okay, it's just a slight reminder.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very good.
Mm-mm.
So what would you say about your missing diagnosis? There is nothing to complain about.
No,
Hmm.
not at
Hmm.
all.
Hmm. Okay.
Mm.
And this, what we have been doing, this innate method,
Mm.
do you have a feeling what that is? How does it work? What have we been doing?
Might sound strange, but for me, it's like an onion, like I'm being peeled layer by layer. And
Hmm.
each layer, there's something that comes up, uncomfortable feelings, things I know I need to look at, but a lot of fear comes up. But being able to accept it and acknowledge it and love it even, and then move on to the next layer, that's what it feels like. And to just encompass the whole process and not fight it. That's what it feels like to me.
And how do you recognize and grasp a layer of this onion?
In the sense that it goes into the next layer, or
How do you, in the first place, start recognizing a layer in order to grasp it?
when you know there is a layer to be unfolded in a way, you have this intuition, this feeling that there's more to my story, there's more to my illness than what I've been taught, what I've been told, and to be curious about that. And I think that's the first sort of layer is the curiousness and the wanting to know, wanting to dig deeper on the subject.
And when you find a layer, how do you dissolve this problem, hinderness?
I think by accepting the fear and the limitations that you've held on yourself. And I think for my sake also, like I felt that fear is a limitation, fear is a wall, but fear is also an opportunity to move through and to learn. So to reframe my mindset around fear has been really huge in order to go into the next layer.
Okay.
Mm.
Where in the past this, you could almost say an ocean of fear was blocked out,
Mm.
and there was no way you would go to open the gates because it would overflood you and destroy you.
Yeah.
So
There was
because
no light at the end of the tunnel in a way.
yeah, and as we took layer by layer, became doable.
Absolutely. I could see the light more and more, and color. I mean, I felt like my life was in black and white and gray tones, and it was hard to explain. But then the layers that unfolded, the more within each layer, I felt like I was really seeing things in color again, and it was really beautiful.
Yeah. It was fun to do the sessions with you, Sophie. Really.
Thank you.
Yeah. And is there anything more you would like to say about this?
Just that I'm really grateful. I'm really thankful that I was given the opportunity and to be placed in the space of this and to be able to work with you. It's really given me a lot.
It's most people will not experience what you did, being unable to move at 20 years of age. But your case is only special in the way it surfaced. We are all heavily influenced by the way our society, our family structure works. And this, which I suppose you have felt, it wasn't pronounced in this way, this shame, there's something wrong with me. Then when we look around, there is something with everybody. Everybody is hiding, carrying some problems. And eventually, maybe not with 20, 30, 40 years, eventually it will break out in some visible influencing symptom, a chronic disease. Realizing this and recognizing it with each other without this pointing fingers, because we are not, so to speak, guilty. We are being victims until we take over and say, okay, I have to deal with this.
Yeah.
And you did it. And this text message from you, I just love it. It was such a happy moment in my life.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you, Sophie.